over the past few years, I think that what's really changed is the burden of proof in so many ways has shifted off of Bitcoiners and onto everyone else. Like that's like the core thing that I see if I walk into a room full of institutional finance professionals, the burden of proof is on them to explain why they don't understand this asset. We're talking about an asset that's like the best performing asset in measurable history by so many different metrics. On an absolute, on a risk adjusted basis, things are moving just in a historic way. And the ETF launch is the most successful in history. It's the most distributed network that really exists. All of these different variables that are completely historic. And, capital allocators are all taking a look around the world, and it's gone on for over 15 years now. There's really no way to make an argument that this was some sort of flash in the pan for any sort of asset. The biggest thing that I've been talking about recently on podcasts, when is Bitcoin going to decouple from assets? And that's, I think that happening is the primary catalyst towards the suddenly moment when there's really no other reason for people to make, it's a risk on asset argument against it. And that's when I think allocation decisions in many allocators' minds go from, a 1%, let's test the waters on this risky asset type investment to, no, this is a commodity allocation, and commodities will all trend towards, very high negative correlation during a market downturn. And that's when it turns into a 10 to 20% allocation type framework of thinking. And that's when things get crazy. I think that, of course, it's going to take, we need a lot more data, but the question is really like, how much data do you need to determine it? We have media outlets that are starting to say this, that Bitcoin is reacting in a different way. And I feel like there's a shift in the cultural sense around the asset, and it's starting to become much more pervasive, that the safe haven status that we all know it's eventually going to get to is really starting to shift into a reality for people. And I think that once we have, a persistent, say, years worth of data, like very consistent market contractions and Bitcoin behaving in an alternative way, putting liquidity in the markets aside, that's what I'm really bullish on. And I think that we're getting very close to that inflection point right now.
Looking to buy Bitcoin the right way? Enable your independence with Bitcoin Well, the fastest and safest way to buy Bitcoin on-chain or via the Lightning Network in Canada and the USA. Head to bitcoinwell.com/BTC sessions and sign up today.